Hello everybody, welcome back. For StarCraft 2 action, we have Reynor's Terran once again, going up against the Lambo at the BGE 2024. And this is a best of 3 because it's still upper bracket. And we start the match and the series on Ghost River. Now, I'm not sure why Reynor's playing Terran here, like versus MSRN. He played Terran as well, but I mean, the gap there is quite large, right? So, I can see Reynor play some off race there. I think he plays mid and now is trying safe lane in League. Does not play Dotes. But maybe Reynor's just, like, starting as Joker? Arc? Joker Arc? I thought he did that when he dyed his hair. But maybe he's doing it now after losing to the kid one too many times. Gonna play some Terran. Now he's playing it against Lambo, who is... if Cyril didn't exist, probably one of the most, and Reynor himself, one of the most premier Zergs of Europe. Like, you have a laser in the conversation there, but... like, is there really other Zergs? I mean, of course there are, but Lambo's just really good. The Professor himself. But Ghost River is a map, alright. Now, we did see race pickers in the past. Think about Moro in Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm, I believe. He played Terran versus Zerg, and then Zerg versus everything else. So he was a Infested Terran, basically. I think that was the nickname as well. Oh my god, the engineering bay block, really? The Reaper comes in. Oh, that's very nice, because you can't take a different third base on this map. And your third base is also pretty far away, so the Queen getting over there is also gonna take a while. It's a nice engineering block, Reynor. It's as if you know what Zergs hate to play against. CC on the low ground, we do have a Marine out. And now second gas and a factory underway. Lambo minus 100 gas. And is now going into the speed. It's not returning to gas mining, just a 2-base opener. Kind of forced upon him. But it's okay, you can go double Queen. Just drone up to 36, go for the double Overlord. And then take your third a little later. It's not amazing, but it's fine. We see super fast starport coming out of Reynor here with the Hellions. Let's see. We see a tech lab coming out, so it could be Hellion Banshee. Could still just be Hellions and like one Liberator going into the main whilst the Hellions try to run by. That is usually the most annoying thing to deal with. The Reaper has one kill. Goes in for a second one. That's 2 Zerglings dead. But no drones have died. But the third base has been delayed. Oh, and the creep tumor goes down. But Lambo does have that extra Queen. So we're going to have some extra crew spread. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. First 2 Hellions are coming out. More are being built. Let's see if he goes for 2, 4, 6, 8. With the Banshee, I like to see 6 or 8. And then probably see a transition. If you're going to sacrifice about 4 or 6 of them, might want to make 10 so you have 4 at home. Ooh. Small Ling run by. Does get in. Oh my god, look at the SCV kills. The SCVs, I don't know if they fought the Lings or that the Lings just did very good target firing, but we caught the tail end of that run by there. And very nice Lambo abusing that speed timing that he had. 6 SCVs, that's pretty nice. Look at the drone difference there, or the worker difference. 7 drones ahead, 5 more coming, and sure, we do have some mules from Reynor, but the third base only just starting. Not that it's late, but it's not like giga early. But Lambo has no control over his third base, just now gaining control after making a swell of Lings. The drones are finally allowed to go to these mineral patches. I've been playing the Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars campaign. I'd never played that in my life. I played 1, well, there wasn't really a 2, I guess. This is Firestorm. And the original one, Tiberian Sun, and... Oh my god, what a run-by! No time to reminisce. We see more and more SCVs going down here. The Banshee is out, but immediately spotted here by Lambo. Also, there's just an Overlord already there. I think a Banshee just went down. Yes, a Banshee just went down to all of these Queens. Do we have Cloak? We do have Cloak as well. Big investment here by Reynor. And he's getting picked apart by the Professor here. Lambo firing on all cylinders. And Reynor, I mean, he has been able to kind of negate some of the creep spread. Nice, gets a creep tumor here by just attacking the Queens. And the creep hasn't really spread off of Lambo's high ground. But these Banshees have gotten zilch done. 0. One of them was donated. Maybe not the greatest Banshee map. And also that Overlord, I mean, just spotted everything. We do have 3 barracks pumping out bio here. Double upgrades coming up. We're gonna see some medevacs come out, so maybe 60 Marines can do something. But if we look at the drone count, it's about to be 70 drones, 4 bases for the Zerg, and the Bailing Nest is coming down as well. We can see double ups from Lambo as well. Tied with the Terran, that is usually all you need, especially if the Carapace upgrade is there. And we see a Hydrodang going down after the lair finishing up. So we're gonna see Lingbane Hydra coming out of Lambo. And Reynor does have a 3rd base here. He has a tank, some Marines. Do we have combat shields? No, we do not. We only have Stim almost done. 1-1 halfway done. And these are the first 2 medevacs coming out. Let's see if Reynor can make something happen with those medevacs. Like, the creep is starting to look annoying. It's not like super crazy far out, but it's far enough out there that a push has to clear this before it can get into position. And if you just run onto creep trying to get that position and there's just a bunch of Banelings ready to roll onto your army, you're going to be very sad. Nice clear here by Reynor. Might try to push in here later. Oh my god, some of the Hellions and the Reaper do get surrounded. And now only 5 Hellions remaining. Yikes. 1 Changeling going down. Not quite rogue amounts of Changelings. And, oh my god, a Baneling drop as well, dude. We have Banelings, or Overlord speed as well. Lambo's just kind of styling on the kid here. But, Reynor, watching his minimap. We do see a drop at the same time. Oh my god. Still 2 Banelings in this Overlord. 2 SCVs go down. And we still could see 1 more Baneling hit these SCVs. But no. 4 health. This Overlord can still get the damage done. But the Marines are there. And the 4th base does start up. 2nd factory starts up after identifying that indeed it is going to be Hydralisks. Complete. But we haven't seen any, have we? I mean, Reynor maybe just feels it in his bones. The first medevac drop is trying to get something done, and the Marines have some kills. Probably killed some Lings, but they're just like going to deny some creep, and that's it. I mean, supply is looking surprisingly fine, but a lot of Hydras are being pumped out. Plus 2 Carapaces coming up, plus 1 range. That transitions very nicely into Lurkers. See Spine at the 4th, I like that a lot. If you're Lambo, you're sitting on 90 drones, you're feeling good. The only way you really lose here is if a little bit too much damage get done to you. Oh my god, Lambo takes this base. Maybe he tried to take both of, like, the inner bases? What? He sent out the Marines to check and then went back. That's so weird. Maybe he was looking for a run-by or something? But Reynor doesn't know about it. There it goes. The drone is trying to take all those inner bases. And if Lambo is up a base, this is a symmetric map with no, like, tiebreaker base. So it's an equal amount of bases, an even amount of bases. So if you take one that is basically on your opponent's side of the map, it's a +1 for you and a -1 for him, so that's a difference of 2 bases, and there's no, like, tiebreaker base. Oh, the Banes. They got the hits. All of those 16 Marines are dead. Another drop here at the bottom. The Hydras try to take down this medevac. That went down. All of the pressure of Reynor dissipates from this map. It's already not looking that good. Nice Widowmine hit, though. 10 kills on that Widowmine. What a bad boy. Ooh, that Widowmine actually went off during, like, unburrowing, I feel like. Oh, the Widowmine's friendly fire onto the Marines. Sure, they get a couple lings, but we do have some Hellbats here. I always expect Hellbats to be so good, and then they just kind of look awful with any amount of Banelings and Hydras on the field. Like, they're good against pure Ling. They're amazing. Oh, look at Lambo taking this forward position, sending in the Queens, going to be spreading creep all over your opponent's side of the map, and now, like, as Reynor, you can't accept this. You need more tanks. The tanks are unsieged, and Lambo is running in. 2 unsieged tanks are going to get surrounded and killed. The medevacs are nowhere to be seen to save those, but the Marines stimmed up and ready. They have to, too. Trying to deal with this blinding cloud, making the Marines unable to fire and have to run back here. And the Banelings are running into PF, doing work. 9 kills on that bad boy. But Lambo can just remax, even getting Adrenal Glands here, but no attempt at Lurkers. I would love, like, a couple Lurkers here. Lurker Den now coming up. We have a Hive already. I mean, we have Vipers. All of these medevacs are also very low. 1 parasitic bomb could be disastrous. And we have a good amount of Widow Mines. We even have the Drilling Claw upgrades. And, well, we have 3 Overseers. In a world, you could take those down. This poor Hydra stuck behind a Baneling Cocoon does go down. Nice pre-splits here for Reynor. And just slightly edging Lambo here by stepping onto creep. But if you're a Lambo, this is still kind of fine. You don't have to trade that well. You're mining one of your opponent's bases, and if you trade on his side of the map, you can still remax on your side of the map before his army is across the map. Especially if it's siege tank based, because siege tanks are a little slow. Okay, the Lings and the Banes try to get some good detonations with those Banelings. The Hydras in the back, though, delivering a lot of damage, and the Vipers here. Nice blinding cloud onto the tank once again. The Widowmines have fired their shot and are now getting taken care of, and not a lot of bio left remaining. But the rally of Reynor, it's keeping up. He's still alive. He's still kicking. He's even starting 3-3 behind us. Think if he hits this, I mean, +3 Carapace is going to hit before +3 attack. That's not going to be fun. I mean, one big Ling run by to the natural Reynor, I feel like just makes Reynor so miserable. This is Evolution Chamber at the front for the Vipers to suck away at, get some more energy in their system. It's basically just a sugar cube for horses or something. Although a horse needs more than 1 sugar cube. Reynor's just maxed. I'm impressed by his Terran. But the Lurkers are out. Lurker range is about to finish up. 5 more Lurkers coming out here. And Lambo not getting that back base because Reynor still has a little bit of pressure on the map. But the medevac does go down to the Hydras. And now those Marines will go down. A big pack of bio, actually, is going to start moving across the map. Reynor's done fighting into this. Does not have a lot of siege tanks. Would have been nice to have like 2 siege tanks in the back there, but instead, he's going for the counterattack, and now Lambo has to make a decision. Oh, I would have loved him to just A-move his Lings into Reynor's base and use a bunch of Banelings just to hold on to his own base. But Lambo thinks the only way I can really lose this is by taking too much damage back at home. So he moves back with his entire force. Except for a couple of Lurkers. Nice. Keeps a little pressure on Reynor's side of the map. If Reynor is allowed to focus on, like, only the offensive, the action economy, like the actions that one player has to do over the other, is just heavily skewed into Reynor's favor. Lambo talks about this a lot in his videos, which I do recommend. He talked a lot about like the rogue style recently with all the changelings beating Clem, and also talked about how Clem won or whatever the tournament was. We'll talk about that one. So the professor dishing out the knowledge. But basically what he tries to say is that if you are the one choosing when to attack, you know when it's going to happen. The other one has to purely react. And we've all played StarCraft. If you don't react perfectly, your army has already been fungled or stormed or whatever. And that's no bueno. This one lurker didn't get caught by a scan, and that planetary does go down, even though Reynor wasn't in position to deal with it. And now the banelings run into the planetary, tank the planetary shots, blow it up. And Reynor now stuck on 3 bases. His main almost mined out, his natural almost mined out, even his 3rd base is halfway mined out. So his only healthy base, well, his only 2 healthy bases plus 20 plus workers just died. And there was some light in the end of the tunnel there, but now Lambo squarely in the driver's seat. There's 50 ghosts on the map though, so if we re-up a little bit too much on the lurkers and don't have enough Ling Bane, maybe Reynor can make it happen here. He does have 130 army supply. I don't see a lot of banelings anymore. Lurkers coming from a lot of sides. Big surround coming in, and we do see some spines hitting, but Reynor just goes for the big pickup, and he goes for a doom drop into the main base. Don't see that every day in a ZvT. The lurkers from the low ground try to deal with this army. The Vipers come in with the parasitic bombs. There's still half the army in the medevacs, and Reynor is forced to tap out G to the G. And Lambo takes game number 1 here in this best of 3. Let's see if Reynor feels forced to go back onto his Zerg, because Lambo's here on a match point in winner's quarters, ready to move into winner's semis if Reynor gives it to him. And for game number 2, we are on Oceanborn, with Lambo going for a 12 gas, 12 pool into Reynor's Zerg. So Reynor switching back onto Zerg for this best of 3. Lambo has a game to lose, and he's planning to bet it all on red, apparently, because he switched colors. That's a thing that happens in this tournament a lot. Now, before the Zerglings are out for Lambo here, be sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel for more StarCraft 2 action. I do appreciate it. Now let's see what Lambo does with this build. Is it going to be Speedling? Is it going to be Ling Baneling? Is he going to make a Baneling nest first? Or does he start Speed first and then a Baneling nest if he keeps mining gas? Or is he gonna send over like 2 drones and make a spine at the natural maybe? I am not sure, but we see a hatch gas pool from Reynor. So this is a best case scenario for Lambo. And Lambo is avoiding the Overlord from Reynor, as he should, because you can see from the Overlords who is cheesing and who is not. So the first warning for Reynor should be not seeing the hatch or seeing the lings over here. Now we do see speed into Baneling Nest using one of the drones from the gas to become a Baneling Nest. So if you want to try this on the ladder, that's how it's done. And Reynor is about to see the lings running across the map right now. Now his spawning pool is about to finish. We're going to zoom out a little. Let's see what Reynor does here. Starts up 4 lings, double queen, and he has gas. Is he going to start speed? He starts his spine as well. Now he sees no natural, so he knows it's all hands on deck. We see a couple Baneling nests or Banelings being built here at the front. Reynor, the first lings are out. Some drones come down as well to try and fight this. He sees the Banelings right now. Reynor knows what's up. He has a Baneling nest of his own. The lings here trying to cancel one of the Baneling eggs. They don't get a hit. One of the Banelings explodes onto only 2 lings. And that's a good trade for Reynor. Gets 3 more lings there. A queen pops and is surrounded right away. Speed is done. Reynor, though, forfeiting the natural here. He knows that Lambo is going all in, balls to the wall, but he is taking a base behind this. So Lambo just taking the advantage of getting an earlier base. Reynor still ahead in workers, though. Can Lambo take down the spawning pool? I don't think so. The queen is too annoying. Some lings. Oh, Reynor actually kills all of Lambo's... No, Lambo killed all of Reynor's Zerglings. And there's 2 lings here to defend, but the queen here doing work, putting in the work in the hours. Now, 2 banelings still alive. Only 1 baneling now. And it is in the mineral line, but it's not going to do much. I think it got 2 more lings there. And now Lambo just targeting down drones because he doesn't want to make any more here. Trying to force out more lings from Reynor, and behind it trying to drone. And now important that Reynor doesn't get to re-expand right away, but he does. If he still had those 2 banelings around, that might have been better. But Reynor now gets to re-expand. Lambo's base almost up. Drone count pretty even, but do mind that Reynor was mining off of more drones all that time. He was on 16 workers longer than Lambo. And Lambo mined a bunch of gas as well with the workers that he did have. So Reynor, I feel like not in too bad of a position. He does have a queen still. Does have this spine, but this hatchery is going to be late. So the larva advantage is going to be on Lambo's side. So Reynor can't really counter-aggress with Ling Bane right now because it's 2 hatches against 1. Which means Lambo's just going to have more units. He has more larvae. So Reynor has to think of a different way back into this game. Now, how do you play this? We're going to see it. Lambo now shooting ahead in the drone count because he has more larvae and he also has an additional base to start mining from. 1 baneling did get a hit there. I'm not sure what happened. Reynor does have a baneling. And he is making 1 safety baneling. I'm guessing that is what happened. That a ling tried to run up and a baneling was up there. And it died. The spine here prevents the ling from running by. Spine reroutes. The extra drones. You can go up to 24 and still get some decent mining here. Oh my god. Carapace is the play for Reynor. I like that a lot. Carapace is super strong. But what's the game plan here? 3rd base for Lambo going down. And Reynor also just takes a 3rd base. It's a pretty similar spot. Now we do see a worker lead for Lambo, but only slightly. Reynor's about to catch up. And he had the 2nd queen ready. As soon as this hatch was done, he injected it. So honestly, I feel like the tempo of Lambo kind of dissipating here. I mean, he's probably still feeling good here. He was gunning for the situation, but Reynor clawing his way back into this game. This Overlord stays alive. We see a Roach Warren, and this Carapace upgrade plus this, like, early 3rd for Reynor makes a lot of sense, right? Even if he gets attacked by Lambo, he can use that 3rd hatch, pump out a lot of his own lings, and with Carapace upgrade, which is about to finish, he should win any Ling Bane war that starts. And Lambo only just has his lair halfway done. Reynor did spot that, so no speed roaches can be on the map right now. The 3rd base is being pressured, but this queen is clicked onto the baneling. Should get it eventually. And the 3rd base seems to be getting saved. Instant larva inject, and look at that. The 3rd base of Reynor even finishing slightly earlier than Lambo's, but we see 2 or 10 roaches on both sides. Reynor still defensive though, no lair. So these roaches don't really want to go across the map. Is he going to use this Evo Chamber for +1 range here? I would kind of like to see that. Just keep upgrading if you're going to be passive anyways, because you don't have lair. But for now, he's just making roaches. He wants to survive. He has a good amount of drones, and he probably knows how greedy he has been droning. So at the... Oh my god, look at all of these roaches going across. And behind that, Lambo firing up more drones. He just wants to put on a little bit of aggression. He could maybe click down this 3rd. He has a bunch of Banes. And Banelings aren't super good against roaches. I mean, you could still get some nice AoE damage. But, dude, the +1 armor coming into play here, making the Lings of Reynor more beefy. And making it, like, the Lings of Lambo just didn't do anything. I don't think the roach mass changes. I think it's still 4 hits to kill a roach. Even with Carapace. But it might be... No. I need to trust myself. Oh my god, Lambo actually gets his roach caught there. The roaches of Reynor just moving across the map here, and he's just full sending a slow roach army. Reynor, you don't have a lair, dude. Is this just like a committed all-in attack? No lair, and just Zergling Ravager. So it's like a Ling Ravager attack with one Carapace. Plus one Carapace is going to be really nice. Going to make these Lings not get two-shot by the roaches at any point. The Queens do barely any damage to anything. And Reynor, is this really a game you win after losing your natural to a super committed early pull from Lambo? And that attack, I mean, it didn't quite get the third base. Overstepped just a little bit with his slow roaches. And we did have the lair, but no roach speed ever started on Lambo. Now just crumbling. He calls GG. And Reynor punishing Lambo for the color switch here. Betting it all on red. But the roulette table came out on green. Imagine that. Reynor showing us how to play some ZvZ from, I wouldn't say behind, but an awkward position. You are behind in some ways, and your opponent is ahead in some ways. That was sick. That's a difficult position to play from as Reynor versus Lambo. Really goddamn good Zerg player. Holy shit. Just pulls out the main race, huh? Well, we go into the game number 3 for this best of 3. And for game number 3, we load up into Crimson Court. Reynor staying on Zerg, and Lambo, as if he knew I was going to make a roulette analogy, switches back to blue. Red is not his color today. And both players going for a 15 hatch off of an extractor trick. And now we're going to see another extractor trick for another drone into an Overlord. Now 15 hatch in ZvZ. So what I know about this build is that it gives you a little bit more larva because the hatchery starts up a little bit earlier. I don't know if that's just a straight up advantage because Reynor didn't do it in the previous game. So maybe it's a map specific thing? Like I didn't live through this transition. I heard some people talk about it, like Zombie Grub had a session with Eon Blue to prepare for a tournament, which you can find on her channel, and they talked about this specific thing, the 15 hashing, and what the advantages are. And I watched it, not to flame Eon Blue, but I felt like the answers weren't super satisfying to me, and they didn't stick. So I guess I didn't accept his premises. But that's the only thing I do remember is that it's a larva thing. Where the hatch is done earlier, so you have your larva earlier, you can get the queens earlier. And I guess you can start mining? Nah, that is the same with just 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool. Very interesting. The gas timing seems to be a little later. But that makes sense. I guess it's just slightly more economical and stronger against early pools. Is it stronger? I don't know. I'd have to see like how late your pool goes down with each build, because I think that's the biggest factor here. But both of these players think it's a good build. They're completely mirroring each other. Like, look at the gas. Look at the minerals. It's like we see the same amounts crop up. It's the same supply. And they're doing the exact same build, dude. Maybe, I mean, Lambo and Reynor did work together quite a bit. I don't know if they still do. I think everybody remember Reynor winning that, I think it was the World Championship 2018? Shit. I mean, he won one, and it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't that recent anymore. Time flies by like a mother trucker. Roach Warren. Baneling Nest, okay, we see a deviation here. But they, like Lambo coached Reynor for at least one big tournament, and I think they did it at least once more. And like Lambo got paid for that and shit. Like, that's one of the coolest stories, especially because he won. Like, that seems like a giga buff to just have Lambo in your court. Like, just telling you what he thinks your opponent is gonna do, what you should maybe do, what type of image you are giving off, and like just having somebody that has tried to beat you so many times kind of like mirror everything you're saying, giving you like direct feedback and just unfiltered thoughts. And just a second perspective, right? Oh my god, this is so many links. What is on the map? We have 20 plus links from both sides. Reynor running across the map, and both players have a lot of links here. Reynor gets us around on the hatch. Lambo gets a decent engage here, even catches a couple of links, but by doing that move, actually moved in a couple of his own links. And they got aggroed by the swarm of Reynor. And now the Roach Warren almost finished up here. Baneling is now starting up for Reynor. Oh, the Baneling for Lambo got cancelled. The Queen. Oh, a couple roaches come out. We have roaches starting up for Lambo here, but there aren't any roaches yet. This is 6 roaches nicely tucked in there. So they can't get surrounded. Some Banelings being added on here as well. And how do you deal with that as Lambo moves his lings across? But this is a lot of lings of Reynor, and you can't hide anywhere. This is such a weird map that you just get stuck in this little corridor here. The roaches, the slow roaches even committing in. And that's a lot of Banes. Oh! Decent hit there, but Lambo, his army supply is looking okay. He has bought himself time. He now has roaches. The Queens are coming in for the transfuses as well. He's gonna keep his roaches alive, and if these Banes don't get big hits onto the Zerglings, everything is going to be fine. Both players having about 30 workers. And with the Queens and the roaches here, it looks like Lambo is going to hold. Feels good, man. A couple more Banelings do come in. And those can deal with the Ling reinforcements out of Lambo here. Both players going for the gases. What a weird map to end the series on. Game number 3 on Crimson Court. And both players deciding that, like, slow roaches and some Banelings is good. Reynor gets a nice long Ling run by here, though. Lambo tried to do that a little earlier, but Reynor was very cognizant of it. And 2 drones do go down. No Lings hidden in the main. Can't pull a Nidix every game. And Reynor is going to lose a lot of Lings here. What is happening at the back of this? Lambo still ahead 2 drones. He's managing to sneak in like 1 drone. I like that a lot. If you're like completely fighting it, but not a planned all in. I like just making 1 drone and then making units. Because you'll slowly but surely get that advantage. Like, he almost has like a 10% higher income than his opponent. Both players having that rich geyser, and these Lings once again trying to get a run by, but look at that, it's just these 2 paths. It's 1, 2 ramp, and that's everything, because the rest is like covered by rocks and mineral patches. Crimson Court ZvZ, it's weird. Ooh, nice Baneling hit there for Reynor onto Lambo. Both players just don't have any upgrades. Like, think about having a Carapace here or a range, but you probably would have died earlier in the game if you committed to that. Lambo takes a fight on top of the ramp, gets decent surface area with his Lings, and pulls back all of the Lings for Reynor, trying to get a decent fight here at the front. And now Lambo seems to have control of the middle with his Overlords here, even has some Queens here. Transfuse could do a number. Transfuse Queen goes down before even hitting it. And now this Ravager gets taken down. 2 Ravagers in Reynor's army. 2 more join the front. And the Queens here are trying to keep Lambo alive. He probably misses a couple larva injects for that. But that should be okay if he just keeps making roaches. Lambo, though, slowly but surely loses all of the Queens. Now GG's out because Reynor is just snowballing this game. Was about to get on top of that 3rd base, and I thought it was looking really good for Lambo. He had a little bit more income for quite a bit, but I guess he pulled his Queens to the front a little bit more, forcing him to make less Lings. And then when he committed all of his Lings here, lost them a little bit too inefficiently to the Banes as well. And then this fight over here also didn't go so well. Maybe ate a couple corrosive biles too many. Didn't get the transfuse. Like, very small things in this game. Best of 3. But Reynor clutches it after losing the first game on Ghost River as Terran. So Lambo being 1-0 up. I mean, he tried his best, but didn't quite nudge out one game versus Reynor here. Reynor just beasting, dude. It's, I feel like a lot of players say this, and I've experienced it myself as well. If you practice really, really hard for a certain tournament, like, the results kind of, like, come in slowly. There's kind of like a delayed effect. So if you practice really hard, 3 months later, stuff starts clicking even more. And I feel like that's maybe what we're seeing here with Reynor, because he made a video recently, which you should probably also watch, talking about his 2024 and why he's playing League now. But also how hard he practiced for a certain tournament, and how he didn't win because Hero hates him, apparently. Which is cool, right? Like, the Smiling Assassin versus Reynor is just such a hype matchup, just because he said that now. But he was like, he said 7.1k on the ladder, even though everybody was like 6-9, maybe 7, higher win rate, and just... He thinks his flaw was that he played too mechanically, as in he would just start playing a game versus anybody in tournament, thinking, I'll just play my normal game, which... yeah, that's a thing you could do, I guess. And I think for Terran, maybe that works better. But for Zerg, and especially Protoss, I feel like you need to be a bit more crafty in a best-of series with showing certain strategies at certain moments, so you can play to your image later, or do a certain opening that is very similar, but then you can cut some corners because the other person knows that that opening represents at least one other build now. But, I mean, if you're 7.1k and you're a Reynor and your mechanics are godly and you are Serral tier, then you can, I guess, just play a macro game every game. That's my ramble on the ZvZ. I just like both of these players a lot. I've studied their replays a lot in the past, and now I have the pleasure of casting them. Thank you guys for watching. It's a bit shorter because it's a best of 3. We're doing a couple, I think, 3 more upper bracket games, and then we go back to lowers, etc., etc. Until we finally hit the finals of this tournament, and then Home Story Cup 26 is upon us. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my ramble. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.